Good evening. My name is Calvin Roberts. I'm a real estate appraiser, broker, investor. This is my first fireside talk on real estate investing, mainly residential. But first, to let you know something about myself, I've been in real estate in some sort of fashion since 1993. I have a bachelor's degree in finance, specializing in real estate. I am a licensed real estate broker since 2003, agent since 1995. I'm licensed real estate appraiser since 1998. Currently licensed in 3 states, Georgia, Florida, and Michigan. I've sold over 700 properties in 20 years, some residential, some commercial. Actually, I bought my first property when I was 19 years old. I was a junior in college. It was a duplex, or I should say a 2-family flat. I lived upstairs and I rented out the bottom, larger portion of the house, and I pretty much lived rent-free for 2 years using that technique. And when I sold the property, I actually made a profit of $13,000 as a 21-year-old. And that's not bad considering I bought the property for $19,000 at the time. So I used that money to buy another property in Detroit. Did the same thing over again, and that got the ball rolling. Also about me, for the past 4 years, I've actually worked for the largest REO company in the South. Pretty much primarily doing evaluations, appraisals, and BPOs on foreclosed properties. What else should you know about myself? Basically, I'm a numbers guy and a research guy. I spend most of my day on the computer on the MLS, doing research on properties, finding the best deals for my clients, and doing valuations. My single solitary gift in all this time in real estate is pretty much I'm very diligent on my research. My numbers are always correct, and I make money for my clients. So that's been the key to my success for the past 20 years in real estate, for myself and for my clients. And what else should I do myself? So that's basically my resume. And let's get to the first rule. Alright. First rule is you make your money in the investment when you buy the property, not when you sell the property. So you do all your due diligence, all your research, do all the numbers, know your market area, buy in the right neighborhoods, buy the right house, have it all on paper, in writing for yourself before you even buy the property. That is key. I've seen many deals go bad because their numbers are faulty in the beginning, or they didn't do numbers at all, and just winged it, and they lost thousands of dollars. So that I cannot emphasize that point more. So in that point, when you buy, I have down here, buy in neighborhoods where home buyers want to be, or where there are high-end quality renters. That's been key for me since I started. Especially if you're flipping properties. If you're flipping properties, the main reason flippers make so much money is because when you buy the property, most of the time banks won't finance that property, so it has to sell for cash. So you're buying it for cash. You're fixing up just enough for the neighborhood to sell it. So a person that wants to buy it to live in can finance it. Therefore, they're willing to spend more money because they didn't fall in love with the house. They want to live in the house, so it will sell out at a premium. If you're basically selling to other investors and investor neighborhoods that only cater to renters, that investor is going to also want a great deal, and you're going to sell that property for a discount. So for the most bang for your buck, always buy in neighborhoods with, I say, at least 75% owner occupants. These neighborhoods could either be newer neighborhoods with newer homes and good neighborhoods, or it could be older neighborhoods where many of the homes have been remodeled, rehabbed, rehabilitated, with some gentrification going on in the neighborhood. So that's rule number one. And any more rule number one? And also be patient. A lot of investors out there would end up overpaying for properties, just getting a frenzy, especially lower price point properties where it's not so hard to buy for cash. Many investors will overpay. Don't be one of them. Be patient. There are deals every month. There's always a deal in any market. Do your research, do your numbers, and the deal doesn't work, don't fall for the multi-offers. Give your highest and best offer, and then walk away if you have to. There's another deal around the corner. It will happen for you. Another thing, when you do your numbers, always leave room for miscellaneous repairs, legal expenses, extra time to pay a mortgage if you're refinancing the deal, at least 10% over for the unknown. Next, I would say hire a good contractor, have a good contractor or home inspector that you can call anytime. You can do your own inspections when you look at the property originally, if you're pretty good at that kind of thing. Figure out your own repairs, even offering the property. But when you get the property, most time you have a 15-day leeway to get an inspection done and decide whether you want to keep the deal going or not. In that 15 days, you should have a good contractor ready to go. Always a home inspector to give you good solid numbers on the repairs. I say get a good appraisal or BP, lease BPO from a separate company that give you good as is and repaired value with some good quality comparables, and everything looks good. After 15 days of your inspection period, let the deal go through. If not, anything comes up, either renegotiate the deal or cancel the deal, and you get your earnest money back every time. But you also know a lot of foreclosures in the beginning. Most of the banks cater to first-time home buyers or owner-occupant home buyers. For the first 15 days, a lot of times those are the only offers they're looking at. So just be diligent. There's still great deals out there. And in fact, the best deals I've ever done for me personally and for clients have been for deals where the home has been in the market for, let's say, 90 to 150 days or even longer, and no one seemed to want to touch it. Those have been the most profitable deals I've done. So there are plenty of deals like that out there, and just be patient. And anything else here? Okay, so that's enough for rule number one. Okay, rule number two is, remember, even though the banks don't like it a lot, and they don't want to see people doing it, flipping is not a dirty word. Flipping is not a dirty word at all. Flipping is rehabbing a property, and it's actually performing a service for the neighborhood. A lot of times, flipping is the difference between, like I said before, someone having to buy cash and someone being able to get a mortgage. So a lot of times when you buy a property, you fix it up. Another point, when you fix a property up, never over-approve a property for the neighborhood. I see a lot of investors buying properties, doing a bunch of crazy things that are well improved for the neighborhood. If the neighborhood doesn't have granite countertops in most of the homes, don't give it granite countertops. If there are no marble floors in the neighborhood, don't give it marble floors. You might like hardwood floors, but the neighborhood is primarily carpet the property. Do not over approve a property for the neighborhood. You will lose out every time. And there goes flip side. If you buy a higher end property, don't under improve it. Spend the money that's necessary to make the home to neighborhood standards. I just see a lot of banks doing this and REOs. They'll have a higher end property that was totally trashed. They'll go in, do some basic fix up, basic carpet, basic paint job, basic appliances, and they'll try to put in the market at the higher end that the other houses are selling for, and they wonder why they're not getting an offer. Not getting an offer because you're not bringing the house up to neighborhood standards, which you have to do if you're going to flip a property in higher end neighborhoods. So flipping is not a dirty word, and never ever improve the property. And you're doing a service to the neighborhood by flipping the property properly. That's it for rule number 2. Rule number 3 is know the market you are investing in. That is key. I know most of you guys are probably going to buy properties in your city or at least within your state, but some investors want to buy out-of-state properties. I have a lot of clients that want to buy up north. They want to buy properties in Georgia or Florida, and of course, first they go online looking for properties, and they see a good property, seems to be a good deal, but they're not sure what market that area that is in. All they know is in Tampa, Florida. That's all they know. And they can figure out how bad could Tampa be. I can tell you there's bad neighborhoods in any metropolitan area in the countries that I've seen. So there are bad areas and there are good areas. There are areas you want to stay away from, and there are good areas, and there are sweet spots, which I will go into another lesson. Sweet spots is where you want to be. So if you want to know your market area, I suggest first and foremost get a quality BPO or appraisal on the property. A good BPO will say something about, have a good section about the market area. It will let you know the school system. It will let you know the neighborhood boundaries. It will describe the makeup of the residents in the neighborhood, whether they're renters or homeowners, the percentage of the renters and homeowners, whether they're first-time home buyers or move-up home buyers. They give us some demographic information of the area, at least a zip code, income levels, household sizes, stuff like that. They'll describe the shopping nearby, the type of stores nearby, type of parks nearby, the major roads that lead to maybe the major city, the major employment centers of the city. They also tell you any kind of railroads nearby, anything negative about the property, about the market area, I should say. Basically, they'll tell you why someone wants to live there, either a renter or a buyer. The information is key. A good BPO appraisal will have a very thorough market description in it. So anyone you hire for a BPO or an appraisal, should let them know that ahead of time, what you want to know and what your purpose is for the BPO or for their appraisal. And let's say for a BPO, you should be able to find a good agent, quality agent that does a good BPO for, let's say, $75 to $100. You can probably find a good appraiser to have an appraiser for you for, let's say, $175 to $225 for a good quality appraisal. I recommend it, even if you're living in the market area that you're planning on buying. some quick tips that I can give you if you're doing an internet search and trying to find a property that's not in your state or even not in your area, and you find a good property, you just want to decide really quickly if it's a good neighborhood or a neighborhood that you want to think about pursuing. There are a few things I've done in the past that they're not no way fail-proof, but they'll give you a good idea about the area you're dealing with. First thing I should say is think of some stores in your neighborhood or neighborhood that you want to be in. And actually these chain stores tend to located in the same areas throughout the country. So I say piggyback off their market research. So you see a house you like, think about these stores, see how close these stores are from your house. That's one way. If they're nearby, that gives you a huge clue if it's a good neighborhood or not. Some things I've used is, I don't know, Cheesecake Factories comes to mind for some reason. If I see a house in the area, I look it up at a mall or restaurants. If I see Cheesecake Factory nearby, I might think, okay, this might be a pretty good neighborhood. You know, they're a chain store. They're not super high end, but you know they're tend to located in pretty good neighborhoods. Also, you can look at type of restaurants like say sushi restaurants. Tend to be a good indicator of decent neighborhoods. Look at your nearby indoor mall, and you can get a directory of the stores in that indoor mall and in that area mall. The type of stores in that mall will give you an idea of the neighborhood surrounding it. Look at the schools nearby. I've also looked at the type of sports teams those schools have. A lot of times they advertise different type of teams, like, you know, I say swim team, lacrosse team, soccer team. How many private schools are nearby? Also as a good indicator, if it's a lot of private schools nearby, it's a good neighborhood, decent neighborhood that homeowners want to be in. Look at some of the school achievements. You know, basic stuff, nothing fancy, basic stuff. And all these things you can do on the internet in 15-20 minutes. You can even do a zip code demographic, type of zip code, type of demographics. You get a whole bunch of sites come up right then and there. So that's a key indicator right now with the neighborhood you're in. I say these are not fail-proof, and these should not be a substitute for a good quality BPO or an appraisal, or just your own pulling comps and doing your own research, going into the neighborhood if you can, driving around, seeing what's around. Of course, that's the best market research you could do, is driving around, talking to people. You know, people will talk to you. If you talk to them, people will give you honest opinion about the neighborhood. I've done that before for clients, and you'd be surprised. People are willing to talk about the neighborhood, the good and the bad. So you can do that as well. So that rule is, what was that rule again? And know the market you're investing in. That is key. So that's rule number 3. And I'll come back to rule number 4 probably tomorrow. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.